Okay, so Vyacheslav, thank you again so much for joining and taking out time for this. Means a lot to us and our community. So we'll start with this one question that I ask all the people I sit on call with. That let's go back to your high school days when you were coming out of a college or your university, and at that time you were just very young, trying to enter into industry. What was your thought process back then? For a fact, I know that you started your career in project management, and I think it was not exclusively gaming at that time. But then, still, like how was your thought process at that time? Like, what were you thinking?
Yeah, well, actually, in my younger times, the only thing that somehow connected me with games was that I was playing a lot.
Okay.
Like from like the age of 12, maybe, when I got my first PC.
Mhm.
I started to play a lot. But yes, at the university, actually, my first degree is in linguistics. Has nothing to do with game industry. And initially, I thought that it would be great to have an interpreter career.
Okay.
So nothing again about gaming industry. So I had the chance to work in different companies, different in size, in forms, like a big, almost half owned, government-owned company, and startups and family-owned businesses in a different position. So it gave me a lot of perspectives and a lot of experience. And actually, before wargaming, before game industry, I worked as a product and project manager in a big payment provider.
Yeah.
So wargaming, again, yeah, I played a lot. And Wargaming asked me to help them with these like payment stuff. So that's how I ended up at game industry.
Okay, got it. So the payment company that you're talking about, I'm assuming this is Yandex.Money.
Yandex Money, right? Correct.
Right. So and then this had nothing to do with gaming, is it?
Well, there were merchants, a lot of merchants that were gaming companies that we worked for and worked with. Yeah, but that's it.
Okay, got it. So then, like, how was the like, assuming that this was a product manager role here, and then when you shifted to your next company, that is Wargaming, where you spent like 8 years, right? And you're still in Wargaming itself. So there, the role was again in product management itself, right? So
yeah.
So well, how were the two things very different from each other? How is those two worlds?
Well, you mean like Yandex and Wargaming, right?
Right.
Well, it was very different. At the same time, and at the same time, there was like some similarities because Yandex Money, it was very like horizontal structure. There were not too much levels of management, and it was a like product company as well as Wargaming. Wargaming also a product company. However, in Yandex Money, I worked within product, and in Wargaming, there is like a bit different structure. There is a platform where I worked right now, and actually I worked like from the start. And there are games. So when I started my career at Wargaming, platform was kind of a service organization.
Okay.
to the games.
Okay.
So now we're transforming into a product like organization, but it's still quite a different experience.
Got it. Understood. So, the other place, like, was your role here, like, was it revolving around a lot of artists, designers, producers? Was it something like that, or was it specifically like a product manager working on a platform, like a specific product?
Oh, yeah. When I started, it was more actually of a project even manager, because our like product managers, like business side, was on the game side, on the publishing side, right? So I started to work as a project manager, and it was actually it is funny that I was asked to join Wargaming to actually launch a project. And the first thing I did, I came to Wargaming. I learned what the project should be because I had experience in Yandex Money, and I stopped it.
Oh,
I said, no, guys, we shouldn't do that. And yeah, that was like product manager's decision. So what I want to say is that no matter at what position you are, you can make different decisions. You can have project manager's title, but you still can make product decisions, or you can convey product decisions, talk to people. Maybe you have no authority to make such decisions yourself. However, you have plenty of information, and if you have experience, it's better to convince other people to make this or that decision. So,
got it. And then, I can see your growth in the same company where you started as a product manager, and then, 2 years later, you were a development director and then director of production. So all this time, when you were growing, like, was this? I'm also trying to understand, like, what was the core business model of the company here? Like, were you also predominantly building games, or was it just a platform? Like, how was it?
well, all this time it was platform.
Okay.
So we were transforming from service organization to a product, to platform, and from the start of the company, there were no platform actually. So the first, like Wargaming is known for is World of War tank game. So there was a game. Nobody knew whether it will be successful or not. So the main thing was to launch the game. Then and there was of course some team that built infrastructure around it. Then it was like great success. This team started like to build more. Then it was like another game and another game and another game. So at what point we understand that we need to rebuild our infrastructure like almost from the scratch. And that's what I was part of.
Okay, got it, understood. Zooming out a little from here, like I want to also understand, like, how was the gaming industry, developing, and how was the gaming landscape in Lithuania? Like because I see that you have spent like 8 years in Belarus and there. So comparing that to a country and ecosystem in Asia is night and day difference. Like, how was the landscape there? How was, like, were there more gaming studios, gaming companies opening up? And like, how was it 10 years ago when you just entered it? And how is it today?
Well, well, that's an interesting question. Actually, a lot of indie companies started their business in the last decade. A lot of them decided to go for Web3 and blockchain and all this stuff. But there are still like classic companies. Also, a lot of startups around games emerged. And at the same time, well, there were several, I would say, existential crises in the game industries. People, well, this is about monetization models, about quality of the games. Yeah, for people like me, I always cherish a good storyline, and sometimes now games are more about graphics. So yeah, but I would, well, that's what I pay attention to. The thing, like whether there's some difference in between Lithuania, for example, and Belarus. Well, I'm not super long time in Lithuania yet. There are several game companies also here, but I really can't say something like something about that. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Understood. So, like coming out from here, like, can you just walk me through like your journey from how it happened, from like how you started from 2014 and then to the present, like how your role in the company has evolved, and I'm assuming that that is the similar way how usually for other product managers it would go as well, because that will make us little understand, like if there's someone right now who is trying to build their career in like product management or like in the similar vertical, like what can they expect out of their career in 8 years or 10 years?
Okay. So you can come to product managers, well, to product actually from any career, actually. From project managers, developers, architectures, like from marketing, from business analysts. I know like a lot of examples of that. So that's not like your current position is not important. What is important is, are you curious enough? Do you care for the product? Do you care for the users? And yeah, but the main thing is just, do you care and are you curious? That's two things that should be new to be a good product.
Okay.
And yes, because definitely there are hard skills, but they are rather easy to learn, hard to master, easy to learn. But if you don't care, if you're not curious, then no matter how many books you read, how many courses you learn, it will be not good.
Got it.
So what I did throughout my career was talking to people, asking questions, looking at like similar companies, what they're doing, trying to understand why they're doing it, because it's like a tricky thing. You can look and say, oh, this company does this and that. Let's try. Let's take this feature to our company. But if you don't know why they're doing that, you can like miss and just spend the resources in vain. So yeah, and just you try to work for business, and people who's like executive, like your bosses, they will notice it always. Yeah, like when you are not pushing your ego, your agenda, when you're trying to do the best for the company, it's always noticeable stuff. So,
got it. Cool, understood. So, okay, and anything else that you would want to mention? Maybe mention someone, people around you who help you throughout your journey in the span of like last decade or so. Let's say if we when we do a story of yours, so some special mentions that you want to give, that people who help you throughout, or maybe some part that you want to share, that maybe questions that I did not ask.
Well, a lot of actually people had influenced me, and some guys. There is a guy who actually fired me once.
Okay.
And I'm very grateful to this guy. Because sometimes you need a kick to understand that either the place is not right, or your like service is not needed. And sometimes it's difficult to do. So there should be this person. I also, it is actually also important, the role of a leader, to help people to understand that. I fired also several people, and now they're just fired. Well, it's just maybe a bit harsh of a word, but to just help them to understand that maybe it will be better for them to work in another company. And like one of them is now has his own company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's an interesting story, because he was always trying to actually to be a good product manager. And at that time, it was actually not very like possible in the organization. So one of the advice I gave him, okay, like quit. Go and try to find your way outside this company, because you will be hurting yourself, and you will be hurting the company by trying to be product manager when the company doesn't need one in this particular area. So he quit it, and he actually founded his startup. And he works fine. He's cool. And I'd like to maybe thank Chris Yates. It's one of my superiors who I worked with. yeah, he gave me a lot of perspective over the business and how to manage other people. Yes, he was a great example for me.
Got it. So, one more question that just popped up on my head is that there's this notion about gaming industry everywhere that people have to, grind a lot, crunch a lot. There's time when, developers, designers, product managers have to sit for 12 hours, 14 hours a day to ship games, build games. I'm not sure to what extent have uh, you've seen that with your platform, but I'm assuming that gaming companies, and since you might have interacted with a lot of people who are building games, shipping it out, right, you have like great context to that as well. But parallelly, like Europe has this notion and this narrative for the rest of the world that the work life balance is really good if you're working in a European country. So there's two different narratives, and if you are in gaming industry in Europe, like what's your take on that? Like is it like is it the former one or the latter one? Like, do you get that work life balance, or that does not apply to the gaming industry?
Well, actually, having the experience working at the same company, actually in Belarus, though somebody saying that Belarus is also part of Europe, and my Belarusian colleagues, hi guys, they're like quite firm about that. And being again in Lithuania, I don't think that there is much of a difference when if you work at the same company, because I think that it depends from company to company. It depends on how mature is the product, how mature is the management, at what stage the game is. Because of course, if it is a new game, then crunches and all the stuff, well, it should be expected, right? Because there are marketing campaigns and all other stuff. Well, we all know that. And yes, sometimes game and near the game teams had to work very hard to meet the deadlines, to meet the launch dates. However, I see recently that, well, there were some scandals around the game industry, and now I see that probably management also sees that and appreciate the hard work of the developers and other managements in the company, and I see that the games are being actually postponed. So, well, I hope that this is because they try actually to keep this work-life balance. We at Wargaming, we had well-established games who are along in the market. Yes, we constantly updating them. However, in our case, it is rather planned work. Though we had we had to split the company recently, as you may know. We actually took all our business from CIS. We had to split product. We had to split products, mini games. We had to split platform team and tech, and of course there was hard work around that. So it is It is like, in wargaming, I guess that you can have a good work-life balance. Well, in platform, at least.
Got it. Understood. Cool. I think I've asked all of the questions that I wanted to ask. So at least in Asia subcontinent, like people are still unaware of a lot of roles that are there, and they still do not understand like how games exist. Like they magically somehow works, and people still are not sure that they can have a serious career in games. So that's what we are trying to solve for past 4 years now. So,
and actually, what is important, you don't play a lot when you deliver a game.
Yep. So, there's one question I forgot to ask. I wanted to ask that, you mentioned that you play a lot of games. You played a lot of games earlier as well. So now, since you are in the gaming, like I wanted to ask, like, how many hours a week do you get time to play games?
Well, I play Wargaming games, and I play, of course, all other games. But it's like differ. At 1 week, I can play like hour, like to 2 hours a day.
Okay.